Welcome back to Transformers Explained. In today's video, we will discuss one of IDW's quite popular comic lines, namely Transformers Spotlight. Published since 2006, Transformers Spotlight is a semi-ongoing series of one-shot comics published by IDW Publishing and set in the 2005 IDW continuity. Each issue focuses on a particular Transformers. And today's character is Blurr. In the G1 continuity, in 2005 to be precise, Blurr was part of the Autobot detachment stationed at Autobot City on Earth, under Ultra Magnus' command. Using his hyperspeed, he quickly alerted the Autobot ranks when Megatron and his Decepticons arrived to attack the city. In defending the city, Blurr combined non-stop chatter with non-stop firepower and helped hold the Decepticons at bay until Optimus Prime and reinforcements could arrive from Moonbase 1. But in 2005 IDW continuity, before the war, Blurr was the #1 racer on Cybertron. He once raced against Dragstrip, and during the clampdown, he won the Ibex Cup for the 10th cycle running. When he retired, he planned to buy and run his favorite bar, the Circle. But this is the story of how Blurr finally joined the war with the Autobots. Blurr sped very fast past the other racers and managed to touch the finish line, as if the other racers were no match for his abilities. All the audience, all the Cybertronians who watched the race shouted and cheered his name. Blurr! 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 Blurr really enjoyed the moment. Everyone loved him. All his fans loved him. He lived in his glory days. "This is incredible," said one of the crew. "You've set a new track record again." Of course, Blurr was not alone. He was helped by several of his crewmates. Like most racing stars in general who are very famous, Blurr almost never remembers the names of all the crew who helped him. Despite how much service his crew has done, Blurr only considers himself important and thinks that the only one who can make him always win in every race is himself. However, it does not mean that Blurr treats them carelessly. It's just that Blurr doesn't really consider them and maybe considers them more as helpers or something and not an important part of his career. While one of his crew, Piston, offers to celebrate the victory, Blurr recommends a place that can only be visited by fellow racers, or only racers who are well regarded if they come there, and not just ordinary crews. This makes the other crews feel uncomfortable, but they still follow Blurr's wishes, showing how much support they give to their racers even though they are not treated well. As a racer, Blurr is very popular among Cybertronians, especially since the many achievements and victories he has achieved have made him a celebrity among other racers. This reminds me of the character Lightning McQueen from Cars, who has the same situation. In fact, the fact is that Blurr does not care about anything other than his racing career, including his indifference to the political conditions and the war that is raging on Cybertron. Almost the entire population of Cybertron, especially its civilians, are gripped by anxiety and confusion because they are caught in the middle of a situation between two camps, namely the Autobots and the Decepticons. Wealth, fame, endless upgrades. Racing forever, as Blurr said, describes his entire personality and life in one sentence. But all that can change with just one incident. There was an explosion at the racetrack where Blurr and other racers compete. Without warning and without knowing who caused it, but if you look at the current situation on Cybertron, it is really possible. Blurr insisted on holding the race, as usual, even though something bad happened. However, Zeta Prime, the leader of Cybertron at that time, ordered a shutdown of the racing event until further notice. Something related to terrorists or the like became an important concern for the Prime to protect his people. This of course made the staff, crew, and many racers lose their jobs and lose their goals. Like Piston, one of the crew from Blurr. He no longer cares about his job or his passion for racing. There is something more important right now, according to him. He said, "I don't care if they come back. It's not about the racing anymore." As Piston added, Cybertron is changing, Blurr. Pretty soon you'll need to choose side. And this is where I'm going. They're called the Autobots. They need our help. All of us. These are the good guys. They're here to help. Blurr returned to his favorite bar, the Circle. The place was empty. No one was there. Blurr sat there silently drowning himself with alcohol or energon, I don't know. He began to question his identity and his purpose in life now. After everything felt like it was suddenly snatched away. The things he loved, the things that had been his goal all this time were no longer there. Until Starscream suddenly came out of nowhere. He approached Blurr and started his typical trick. He said, "Tell me, have you really felt remorse? Loss? Let me put it this way. How much do you really care about those around you?" And Starscream also added, "Believe me when I tell you, I understand you better than anyone you've ever known. For example, what do you really care about?" Blurr answered quickly, racing. And here Blurr expressed what he really felt all this time about what he was going through. The crowds. When I can feel them behind me. The lights. The roar. And that one moment. That one single moment when I know what I'm doing really matters. But Starscream, as we know of course, is known for his slick speaking skills, for his own interests. He said, "Power. It's power you care about. Power over the crowd. Power over those around you." He added in his words, "You have a single-minded devotion to achieve. You have little time for those around you and care only for what you want. What you can get. Others would have you believe these to be abhorrent qualities. Not us." And Starscream tries to seduce and invite Blurr to join the Decepticons, amidst the emptiness he is feeling. Starscream said, "I represent a group that exists to bring freedom to those like yourself. My group could use someone with your gift, Blurr. Someone with your clarity." Starscream tries to convince Blurr's mind again, who still misses something valuable from within himself. What he thought would make him meaningful, namely victory, fame, the title of champion, but all of those things still make him feel empty. By deciding to join the Decepticons, Starscream hopes that Blurr can find his true self, whether it's being the one who rules or being the one who is ruled. Blurr ponders the words given by Starscream. He tries to clear his mind and go as far and as fast as he can. But an explosion occurs, causing Blurr to be thrown. Ironhide suddenly comes and tries to protect Blurr from the remnants of the explosion. Apparently Blurr is in the middle of a shootout between the Autobots and Decepticons. Ironhide leads Blurr to find shelter, considering that Blurr is just an ordinary civilian. But how shocked we were when we were shown the bodies of Piston, one of Blurr's crew, and one of his fellow racers lying there as a result of the shootout that was happening. They chose to join the Autobots, but now they are dead. Orion Pax, aka Pre-Prime Optimus, said, "I know him. I met him once briefly." And this time Blurr remembered the name of his crew. His name is Piston. Orion said again, "It's a tragedy. How long has it been since Cybertron has witnessed death? Death to those who haven't chosen it." And Orion asked Blurr, "You're a racer, aren't you? I've met some of your kind before. You're a special breed." Hearing those words, Blurr jumped with emotion. "Enough. Okay, enough. I've had it with bots telling me who and what I am." Blurr was frustrated with his search for his identity. Even Cup doubted the quality of Blurr. He said to Orion, "You're wasting your time, kid. This one's just a pampered, arrogant little upstart." Blurr felt offended by Cup's words. He was angry and he was upset. However, Orion had his own point of view, that not all of what Cup said was true. He said, "But in this case he's wrong. At least partially to those around you. You might seem abrupt and arrogant, but that's just a byproduct of your gift. You're able to process life and death decisions at lightning speed." Orion added, "I admit I'm quite envious of your confidence to do so. Your kind rarely show hesitation." Blurr responded, "Yeah? I'm so wonderful? Tell that to him. Tell that to all the others." Orion still tried to have a conversation with Blurr. He could see the potential that Blurr had that could be used for good. Unlike Starscream, Orion convinced Blurr with honesty and hope. Orion explained about the Decepticons. He said, "That group of Decepticons we were fighting are an assassination team. Their target is Zeta Prime." To which Blurr responded very logically, "This isn't my fight." Orion explains that they tried to warn Zeta Prime of the Decepticons' impending attack, but their transmissions never got through. That's why they needed a robot fast enough to deliver the message before the Decepticons could act. Blurr insists he doesn't want to help and doesn't want to be a part of it. However, Orion believes that there's something inside him that can move him. He says, "All those times in the arena, was it the victories that keep you going? Or was it the change to constantly inspire others to strive for more? You can still be an inspiration, Blurr." Blurr seemed to start to waver. He began to see a glimmer of hope that enveloped him. He wondered what kind of bots could say words like that. He said to Orion, "Who are you?" And Orion gave an answer that I think is very, very good. He said, "Just a soldier. Like you." And at this moment, Blurr knew what he had to do now. He sped away very fast, leaving Orion and Cup. He knew what decision he had to make. And he already knew which side he had to support. Blurr ran as fast as he could, faster than he had ever run before. He ran towards the herd of Decepticon soldiers. His previous conversation with Starscream came back to mind. No, he wasn't just concerned about the race. As he thought about that, he hit one of the Decepticons very hard. The horde of Decepticons tried to chase him behind. They tried to shoot Blurr as much as they could. But all that didn't shake Blurr. It all just reminded Blurr of his days at the racing arena. But this time he knows the real purpose of what he does. And that's what makes Blurr join the Autobots. What a very interesting issue. Again, the reason for a Transformer to join the Autobots in a touching way. In the case of Blurr, he was forged with the emptiness experienced after a tragedy. But with the right direction, and the right people can make him make the right decision. And not only that, he managed to find his purpose in life again, even his true purpose in life. Thank you for watching today's video. Look forward to the spotlight issue from other characters in the next video. See you next time. Bye-bye.